Some financial advice needs to be left in the past. Here are 3 outdated financial rules of thumb that you may want to ignore. The first outdated financial rule of thumb is buying is always better than renting. I've seen this come up a lot, and one of the first things I'm going to say about it is avoid advice that says always. Your situation is unique and you need personalized advice for your situation and what you're trying to accomplish. And when thinking about buying versus renting, we have 3 important questions we have to answer. Where do I want to live? What's the location? Am I happy trying to buy a home in this place? For how long am I going to be there? If I'm going to be changing jobs, possibly moving to another location in 2 years, 3 years, does it make sense to go through all the trouble and the expenses of buying a house for such a short period of time? And the last one I think is really, really important. Why do you actually want to buy this house? There's a lot of societal pressure to buy property, to own a home. It's a checkbox that a lot of people want to have. I think that if you make a decision to buy or rent, it should be personal. You make that decision because it's the best decision for you and your situation. Don't make it because your family or friends expect you to buy a house. You need to make that decision because it's the right time for you to actually buy a house. The second piece of outdated financial advice that we want to avoid is paying off your mortgage early. Now, when our parents made the decisions back in the day to pay off their mortgages early, interest rates were way higher than they are right now. We're looking at mortgage rates around 15%, sometimes even higher. It made sense at that time to take your money and to pay off this debt that was acting as an anchor and dragging you down. In today's environment, even with interest rates being where they are, you may find that investing that money over a long period of time can actually yield results and generate some returns for you. You may find that your money is better put to use working for you in the market as opposed to just paying down some low-cost debt that you may have, if your interest rate is at a reasonable amount. And again, this is a case-by-case basis. If we're looking at it from a purely mathematical standpoint, investing your money over a long period of time probably makes more sense than paying down your mortgage. But if we're also looking at it from a human perspective and a human side, we need to take into account that sometimes the feeling of security, of paying off that mortgage, of not having a payment anymore, will beat out the mathematics behind the decision. So again, you need to make the best decision for you and your context. It may make mathematical sense to not pay off your mortgage, but you as an individual, as a human, you and your family, it may make sense to just do that and get it over with. That choice should be yours and made within your context. And the last piece of outdated financial advice that I want us to consider ignoring is staying in the same job for a long period of time. For our parents' generation, the loyalty of staying at a job was good for you because you had a pension and benefits that were tied to that. This economy is way different. The way things operate is way different, and we have to account for that. There's plenty of research out there that shows that people that stay in the same job don't see as much of a pay rise as those who are leaving every 2 to 3 years. Making the jump from company to company is a great way in this economy with the way things work right now to get yourself a pay raise that's going to beat out inflation, to make sure that your dollars still have purchasing power and they're going a lot farther than before. The idea of being loyal to one company is dead. If you have opportunities for better pay, better work-life balance, better benefits, you should try to take that. You should try to leverage your position to get those opportunities. Again, this is a different time than the time when our parents and our grandparents were working, and understanding that is going to be a big key to your success. So we went over 3 outdated financial rules of thumb. We talked about renting versus buying. We talked about paying off your mortgage early versus investing that money. And we also talked about leveraging the job market, changing jobs every 2 to 3 years to get more pay. The advice that our parents and loved ones and the people from that generation can be very well intentioned. They want the best for us, but it may not be relevant to the time that we're in right now. You need advice for the world right now and the world as it will be in the future. And you also need personalized advice for your finances because your context is the most important thing when you make those decisions. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.